Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House?
Sure. Come on in.
They have cold beer and action on the game.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
It's time for the Degenerates Next Door.
Dollar bills, y'all.
And as always, powered by StatFactory.io, your one-stop shop for all things sports betting statistics. Compare, contrast, come up with your own computer model. Free preview going on right now. StatFactory.io. My name is Jason Hammer. I plan to bet heavily on the Super Bowl. I plan to watch it. I plan to eat so much food, my living room's going to look like the time Clemson visited the Donald Trump White House, and it was just a fast food smorgasbord. Across me is Rob Kendall, who's going full Christmas with the Cranks and calling for a boycott of this Super Bowl. Now, here we are on Tuesday, the week of the game. Have you wavered at all?
No. You and I have known each other for 20 plus years. You know me. I may be a this and I may be a that, but I am, if anything, I am resolute in my belief system and my beliefs, and I will make myself suffer to the ends of the earth to prove a point, I guess, to myself. I don't know.
But you're also a number one rated radio host. And
That's
I
right.
feel like your audience is going to want your thoughts on things that happen, because it's not just a game. Like sometimes the game becomes secondary. It's the biggest pop culture event our country has to offer. It's bigger than the Oscars, the Grammys, which we may discuss a little later. It's bigger than all that kind of stuff, from the anthem to the halftime show to the commercials. You're not going to participate in any of that.
No, I'm the game's rigged. What I saw, it's so bad now that they've had to admit the Frogger ref was so bad that it cost the Bills the game, that now after all this time, well, we might have to go to some sort of electronic way to measure the first down. Oh, well, to steal a line from you on social media, Hammer, welcome to the party, pal.
I'm going to play you a piece of audio here. This is NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell speaking to the press yesterday, and he was asked what you believe, Rob, is the fix in.
Officiating has favored the Chiefs, not my perception, public perception. How much of a concern is that for you in the league?
Well, this sort of reminds me a little bit of the script, right? That I write a script, and I have the script for the entire season. Listen, I think from a lot of those theories are things that happen in social media, and they get a new life. As you say, it's not your theory, but it's out there. Nobody wants it to be their theory. And so I understand it. I think it reflects a lot of the fans' passion. And I think it also is a reminder for us how important officiating is. And that's a ridiculous theory for anyone who might take it seriously. But at the end of the day, it's something we always have to continue to work on. How do we make our officiating better?
Okay, so this pisses me off, Hammer, and here's why. Because they always do this, and they do this in the government stuff all the time, too. How many times, has Donald Trump and his, quote-unquote, conspiracy theories been proven exactly right? How many times?
There's a lot of, quote, conspiracy theories, whether it was COVID, whether it was something else that came true. You're right.
And it's not, so he wants to make it like it's like, booger eaters in their basement that have come up with this. It's mainstream people like Joel Klatt. Joel Klatt is a highly respected individual. And you know why they think this? Because every single call in that game went against the Bills and for the Chiefs. It'd be one thing if it was like, man, there was one close call and, man, it could have gone either way. When you've got all three guys in the booth, Tony Romo, former quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, knows a thing or two about football. Jim Nantz has been doing football since, I was 5 years old, knows a thing or two about football. Gene Salator, wasn't he the main ref guy for a while? When they're all saying the same things and you keep doing the exact opposite, that's not a conspiracy theory.
It was a big talking point at Media Day yesterday. So you heard from the commissioner, and now let's hear from Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs. He kind of brought this up at Media Day yesterday.
If I could ask the media one question, why are you guys leaning into this whole ref thing? You know what I mean? Like, why are you guys leaning into it? That's all I got, though.
No, that's all I got. Oh, so let's talk about Kelsey for a second, shall we? So Mahomes scores this touchdown. I think this is the one they got off the bullcrap interception call, right? Is this the one they got? So he goes up, gets right in this guy's face in the end zone. It's clearly taunting. I've seen a fraction of that called taunting, and there's no call whatsoever right in front of the refs. What do they do a week later? Oh, yeah, I guess that was taunting. Yeah, that is $11,000 fine. He loses $11,000 in his couch cushions. Oh, a week later you determined it was taunting? Yeah, but we're the problem. We're the people who are watching the game, seeing the same crap happen over and over and over again. We're the bad guys. Why are you guys leaning into that?
So I will bring this question to the table one more time, and I will probably do it Thursday when we do this program again. If you believe the fix is in, and you feel like Kansas City gets all the calls, why not use that to your advantage and make money on it? Why not put a bet on Kansas City then?
Because the problem is now they may have the switcheroo, right?
We thought that with Buffalo.
Well,
though.
but maybe it's so obvious now. Whatever it is, you know my luck. I'm a poison. Whatever I do, it'll be the wrong thing. If I think the fix is in for one team, it'll go for the other team.
Do you know how much money we could make if we sold T-shirts that says Rob Kendall is poison? The amount of T-shirt merchandise sales we could move that simply says Rob Kendall is poison.
Let's do it.
So, unlike you, I will be watching. I will have an awesome spread of food. And my very first bet, before the game even kicks off, Rob, will be the coin toss.
Oh, yeah.
You can't call yourself a degenerate if you don't at least bet on the coin toss. So I did a little number crunching here, okay? I basically ignored my family for 24 hours, looked up a lot of information on the coin toss. In 3 of the last 4 years, it's been heads. However, from 2015 to 2020, it was tails 5 out of 6 years. Now, you want to talk conspiracy theories? You want to put the tinfoil hat on with me?
There you go.
A number of years ago, they went to this really fancy schmancy commemorative coin that they used to flip in the air for the coin toss.
Yeah.
It's believed that the engraving on the head side protrudes a little bit more, thus making it a little bit more heavy. So when you toss the coin up in the air, it's more likely to land heavy side down, meaning tails is face up. This would explain the amazing heater from 2015 to 2020 and why tails has been the majority of tosses over the years. Very slightly, but it is the majority. So I'm going with physics here, Rob. Physics is where I'm putting my money. First bet, $10, tails. Tails is going to be my first bet of the game.
Okay, let me ask you about this because like I'm frugal, so I don't I got a hard time losing
That's
money.
fancy talk for you're a cheap ass.
Yeah, and at least when I lose a game, I got 3 hours of misery having that bet stolen from me for the AFC Championship game. I still got 3 hours of I don't know, I don't call it entertainment, but normally it's entertainment. You got nothing on this. You lose that bet. You lose $10 on a game. Hey, it's 3 hours. Where is you getting 3 hours of entertainment for $10?
If I lose that bet, Rob, I still have 15 more bets coming up. Okay? That's like saying, well, you lost your first hand at blackjack. You didn't get any sort of enjoyment out of it. It's the first hand.
Right.
This is a marathon, kid. This ain't a sprint. We're talking about first half totals. We're talking about player prop bets, first touchdown, last touchdown. The 2 times that I really get nuts in my life. Okay, actually 3 in the sports betting calendar. The Super Bowl.
Yep.
March Madness. And the Indy 500.
Yeah, you love the 500.
I love the 500. So those are the 3 times to channel you, get nuts.
Yeah.
So it's just the first bet. If I win that, hey, we're cruising. We got house money. We're taking that into the first score. If we lose, that's okay. Plenty of time to battle back because we've got bets with bigger odds that could pay off later on.
See, I wish I could be you. I just so value my money that it would be just miserable.
Because you don't have any. You're poor, Rob. That's why you value money. You're so broke and you're so poor.
Ted DiBiase over here.
Right. I'm this close to throwing money at you and to see if I could buy you like the $1 Million Man used to do.
Rob's got to do 100 push-ups, and on the last one, Hammer kicks my hand out from under me. Yeah, I know.
By the way, speaking of Ted DiBiase there, $1 Million Man reference, does it make me next level degenerate that I was part of a WWE Royal Rumble pool?
I love that. So was this with your former producer?
Yes, my former radio producer, TKW. He runs a Royal Rumble pool. Well, you just pull a number out of a hat.
I love this.
So I pulled out for the women number 10, which ended up being Bianca Belair.
Who?
Did not work out. But for the men, I had number 29. I thought, this could be pretty good. But it did not work out in my favor.
Who'd you get at 29? Boy, was that bad.
L.A. Knight.
Who?
Yeah. L.A. Knight is who I got.
I won that pool one year, the women's.
You've been in it.
I've been in the pool. This was years ago.
So I'm not the only degenerate in the room.
I'm actually okay with that because that's like intrigue, right? And it's scripted anyway, so it's not like you're betting on. I mean, you know it. It's
a blind draw.
It's the AFC Championship game. Now that I know it's scripted, I would have made my bet differently if I'd have known, it was World Wrestling Entertainment. But you know walking into that, this is scripted. The outcome is predetermined. It's totally luck of the draw. Did you draw the right scripted person?
So another bet that I'm going to make, and this is one that I'm jumping on right now because the number's already going up. It started at like 199, and now it's at 200.5. Jalen Hurts passing yards. Over 200.5. Because I'm looking at it two ways here. Either the Eagles are going to be behind and they're going to have to throw the ball. So much better than the Eagles. They're either going to have to be behind and throw the ball, or they're going to have to put up at least 35 points, I think, to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So Saquon Barkley can't score every touchdown.
Can he?
You wouldn't think. So this is not a huge number. We're not asking for 270. We're not asking for 280.
Yeah.
200.5.
Yeah.
I'm going to ride the Lightning and go over because no matter what happens in this game, I feel like he's going to have to make some plays over 200.5.
That's some good thinking, right? Because, again, they're going to stack the box. They're going to dare. They're not going to let Barkley run all over them. They're going to dare him. They're going to say, all right, if we're going to lose this game, we're going to lose with the Eagles receivers having to make plays. So that's a good bet. I like that.
I am all in on this one. And if you want this one, I saw 200.5 at Bet Rivers. You probably want to jump on that now because I think that number will go up. And I'm sorry, I know we got to get to a break, but since we talked about it earlier, I have to hear Fetterman.
The Eagles are so much better than the Eagles.
Wait for it.
No.
The emphatic no at the end is just the best.
Is that better, worse, or on par with the mayor of Philadelphia trying to spell Eagles?
E-L-G-S-E-S, Eagles!
Eggless.
Let's go, Birds!
Okay, so at least with Fetterman, the man had just had a stroke and he was in the midst of a medical recovery. That woman's just a moron.
E-L-G-S-E-S, Eagles!
Because she didn't just miss one
Let's
letter.
Go, Birds!
She didn't just miss one letter. She missed multiple letters.
Taking a break. Coming right back, our professional handicapper, David Stefanoff of Follow Never Fade, will join us. He's got action in college basketball tonight, and he's going to give us his Super Bowl pick. That is coming up. Don't go anywhere. We are the Degenerates Next Door, powered by StatFactory.io. Back on the Degenerates Next Door, my name is Jason Hammer. Rob Kendall is here. And let's go to the hotline right now and find out what our professional handicapper thinks, not only about the Super Bowl, but maybe a little action tonight. David Stefanoff is a professional handicapper, the man behind FollowNeverFade.com. So, David, I'm going to ask you to pick a college basketball game tonight and then the big pick for the Super Bowl. I want the appetizer and then I want the main course, okay?
Oh, you're not asking for much, Hammer. Just a bunch of free winners, and I got them for you, Hammer. Thank you, Hammer, and thank you, Rob, for having me to the greatest sports podcast that's taken off in America. Hammer, college basketball tonight. Looking at Arizona, I'm looking at Arizona BYU. It's a pretty good game. Arizona just broke the top 25 for the first time all season, so that means they'll probably get beat tonight and lose their top 25 ranking. They're off a win. The reason I like BYU, if this game was played in March, BYU played Arizona. If this game was played in March, Arizona would probably be big favorite and probably dominate on neutral court. But it's not on neutral court. This is at BYU. Arizona's had 3 tough games in a row. They won the last second shot versus Iowa State. They played this weekend versus Arizona State. They had some BS at the end where Bobby Hurley pulled his team off the ground. There was a fight, basically headbutts. A couple guys headbutt each other. They were lucky to get away with a win there. Now they're on short rest. They go to Utah, the home of the Mormons. Now, let me tell you what they're doing out there. They got the most NIL than anybody in college basketball because they got more money than God because that's God's country. Anyways, Arizona's a bad spot for Arizona going into BYU. They match up great versus guards. They got the coaching advantage definitely because I think Tommy Perry is not a very good coach for Arizona. I think this is a bad spot for Arizona tonight. On the road, late night, going into BYU. I'm going to lay the 2 points with BYU against the ranked team. The ranked team's not favored here, so that should show you one thing. Vegas thinks the unranked team might win this game. We're going to lay the points with BYU tonight against Arizona. BYU's led by one of the best players, freshman in the country from Brownsburg, Tamika Catch's nephew. If you don't know who he is, you will know him when he gets the lottery pick comes up this year. He's a real deal from Brownsburg. Watch a kid play my whole life. He's NBA ready. He's better than any guard that Arizona has. NBA ready. But so we're going to lay the points with BYU big time tonight. I'm talking about a blowout tonight against Arizona.
All right. So we are all in on the Storm and Mormons tonight. Now, let's get to the main event here.
There we go.
The Super Bowl is this Sunday. The Chiefs, the Eagles. Are you on a side? Are you on a total? Do you have a prop bet? Where is your money going, David?
Well, I'm not going to take a side yet. I haven't made up my mind. I'm just not going to. I've learned my lesson last week going against Patrick Mahomes. You just can't do it. So I love the under in this game. Both these teams have great defenses. Philadelphia's got a really good defense. But I just think it comes down, both these teams had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. They know exactly what everybody has. They know everything brings to the table. I like the matchup with Kansas City's matchup on defense. Both these teams, both these coordinators, they're well coached. They got 2 weeks to prepare for everything that each way is going to throw at them. I don't see a lot of points coming in this game. I love the under here. I don't know. Kansas City's the better team. They got the belt. They still got the belt. Somebody's got to take the belt from them, and use a wrestling term here. But hey, I really believe that this game will go under. I don't think it's going to be a high-powered game, a running game. Philadelphia's going to run the ball. Kansas City knows they got to keep Philadelphia off the field and wear the defense out. I love the under in the Super Bowl. I haven't made up a side yet. I will give a side out free on Facebook come Sunday. But right now, VIP play, we gave it out last week, is on the under 48.5, Hammer.
If somebody wants to become a client of yours and get those VIP messages, what can they do?
First off, I've got at least 1 or 2, maybe 3 guys from that listen to this podcast. I want to thank you and Rob. I get clients all the time from this podcast that sign up with me. It's an awesome thing. But you can get me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We're available on all platforms. I put a lot of free plays out every day. We don't put a lot of losers out, a lot of crazy games. The ones we do, we win, we lose. And sign up for my VIPs. $100 for the week, $250 for the month. I'm easy to get a hold of. I'm transparent. I tell you when I go 4-0, and I tell you when I go 0-4. Because last night we went 0-4, and then that means you might want to jump on now and get on this heater because it's going to take off. But thank you, Hammer. Thank you, Rob, and have a great week. Get the Super Bowl game under on Super Bowl, and get the BYU guys tonight over Arizona. And don't forget to follow Never Fade. Thank you, Hammer.
All right, so since we brought up a little college basketball there, David on BYU tonight, Rob, you have been riding the Fade IU train on this show. Now, if I remember correctly, at the beginning of the year, we threw out some insane let's get nuts style futures, and you thought there may have been some value on the Indiana Hoosiers because they were number 3 in NIL money spent. They went out and just bought everybody they could, brought them into Bloomington. It hasn't worked. They were a preseason top 15, top 20 team. The wheels have fallen off. And like we said, Rob, this past Friday, that game against Purdue, it was the worst case scenario for IU fans, right?
IU's done this 2 times in a row now where they've lost the game they should have won, but they didn't lose by enough for the other team to cover. I mean, it's been a betting nightmare. They should have definitely won that game against Maryland. They gave that game against Maryland at home away. And now that game against Purdue, they had that one won as well, and they gave that away. And you're right? I mean, I don't remember what the final was. Was it 3? I think 3 ended up being the final. Whatever. The end of the game was ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, and look, I use a dumpster fire. They were like 60-1 though to start the year or something like that when we did on the Let's Get Nuts. It's like they had that big Ballo dude from Arizona who was. Well, they paying him $1 million, $1.5 million. I mean, some ridiculous amount of money. He had Mbako. My wife loves to say his name, by the way. She'll always go, "Is Mbako playing?" Mbako. And then, I mean, you know, they brought Goody in, who was a great shooter. You had Trey Galloway returning. They had some other guys who came in. Malik Renew was back. And they're just so poorly coached. Like, I have no idea. When I watch an IU game, I have no idea what Mike Woodson's trying to do on either side of the basketball.
And the reason we say it was the worst case scenario was had Purdue just blown Indiana's doors off on national television on Friday night, 8 p.m. tip-off on Fox, that may have been the motivation needed for the athletic department in Indiana to say, okay, it's time. Whether it's now or at the end of the season, we are officially making a change. We're going to change things up. But Indiana outplayed Purdue most of that game up in West Lafayette, but they still lost. So it was really the worst case scenario for IU fans.
They lose these games all the time, though, Hammer, because they're so poorly coached. I mean, this is where you win games. Why did IU always used to win at the end? Bob Knight was a great coach. You were not out scheming Bob Knight in the final 3 minutes of a basketball game.
And you don't have to be Bob Knight. You just can't be incompetent.
Yeah.
Those final few possessions against Purdue were embarrassing. And it was the same thing against Maryland in Assembly Hall. Now, the reason we're bringing up Indiana, one, we live here, but if you're listening from another state right now, there's vultures flying around Bloomington, Indiana. And it sounds like if there's going to be a major job opening in college basketball, it's going to be the Indiana Hoosiers. The fan base wants Woodson gone. They're chanting, "Fire Mike Woodson" at games. But my question to you, Rob, as somebody who grew up watching the Bob Knight Hoosiers, as somebody who's got an Indiana University degree on your wall.
That's right.
Is this still the job that people like you think it is? Is this still one of the jobs in college basketball where coaches would be like, well, yeah, I'll leave my school to come over here. This is Indiana.
Yeah, the difference is I'm a realist, right? I don't think it is that job anymore. So you got what? It's Davis, Sampson, Crean, Archie, now Woodson, right? So we're 5 coaches and 25 years removed from Bob Knight. Like, nobody's even in college that was even alive when Bob Knight was the coach of the Indiana Hoosiers. And I think NIL's changed so much that these guys are basically mercenaries now. We talked about this during the college football thing. Like, is Notre Dame still Notre Dame, or are they just kind of an elite-ish program with good mercenaries, right? I mean, we had that debate during the college football playoff.
But you have to pick the right mercenaries, though.
You do. And Mike Woodson's team, he gets all these great players, and they don't fit together. It's just like, it's just such a poor roster, assembled roster. And then he does these bizarro, like, I don't know if he forgets he's not coaching the NBA and does these rotations that bite him in the backside all the time. I use a dumpster fire. I just think the field is so open now because of NIL. I get that there's some lure for some kids to go certain places based on where they live. But for the most part now, man, it's just like, have money, will travel.
So, because I hear a lot of the IU fanboys talk about a guy like Bruce Pearl, who's down at Auburn. Auburn's a football school. They put all their NIL money into the football program, even though the basketball program's #1 in America right now. Bruce Pearl's not leaving Auburn to go to Indiana.
No way. Well, he said it's his dream job, though. Would you? Would he? I mean, if it's your dream job.
If it's your dream job, I guess that's different. But a guy like Bruce Pearl, let me put it this way.
Yeah.
Another interesting name, Tony Bennett. Now, he, quote-unquote... Great singer. But he's also a pretty good basketball coach, won a national championship at Virginia. He, quote-unquote, retired, air quotes. But it was really because the school did not want to spend the NIL money so his Virginia team could compete against the Dukes and the North Carolinas. And he didn't want to stay and have his teeth kicked in all the time.
Yeah.
So would he be interested in Indiana? But is his style so old that even if you had the money, no blue chip recruit's going to want to come play a game where the final score is 45-40 and you pass the ball 13 times before you shoot?
Yeah, I believe it was Eminem, the philosopher Marshall Mathers, who once described the musician Obi or Moby. Is he a musician? Is that what we count him as?
Techno musician.
Yeah, you're too old. Let go. It's over.
Nobody listens to techno.
So let's go. No, and I think this is the problem, right? Is if you're an elite coach, this is why I think you saw Roy Williams get out. It's why you saw Krzyzewski get out. It's why you saw Tony Bennett get out. It's why you saw Saban get out in football. They don't want to go get on bended knee and beg some 17-year-old kid to come play for them and have to offer them $1 million.
But what I'm asking is, can Indiana poach a coach, whether it's Drew at Baylor, whether it's Pearl at Auburn, to say, we are a blue blood. We got 5 banners hanging up here. We are Indiana. 49 states, it's just basketball. This is Indiana, the most passionate fan base, the biggest student section, number 3 in NIL. Would any of those coaches be up to taking that? Or is IU a job where go find an assistant somewhere and see what happens?
Well, and I think that's the mistake they made. I think they tried this night guy stuff, but they picked the wrong guy. Mike Woodson had never coached college basketball before. He had no experience. He coaches it and recruits it like an NBA team. It doesn't work. They should have Dane Fife or Alford or whoever that had actual
internal issues ran Dane Fife out of there.
Yeah, and they should have gone with him, right? It sounds like he's the guy who knew what was going on. Was like, this is crap. We got to fix some stuff around here. And Woodson didn't want any part of it. And we've seen what a dumpster fire it's been. I don't think if you're a good coach, I mean, money talks, right? I mean, if somebody's going to back a Brinks truck up to you. But they had it. They had Dusty May a couple of years ago. He would have been a great choice. IU guy didn't play at IU. Was a student manager at IU. Loved IU. IU has become the Bears. Whatever the wrong thing to do is, IU will do it.
Today is February 4th. It's been 709 days since Indiana has defeated a ranked opponent. Ranked. We're not saying number 1. We're not saying top 5. It's been 709 days since Indiana has defeated a ranked opponent in the Associated Press top 25.
They've beaten some rank opponents, but not ranked opponents.
Correct. Correct. All right, going to take a little time out here. When we come back, we've got a Degenerate special. I got some action on tonight. We're going to get nuts with the Waste Management Open. We are the Degenerates Next Door, powered by StatFactory.io. Having a good time with you guys today. Degenerates Next Door, I'm Jason Hammer, former elected official. The only elected official in this country that didn't leave office a millionaire is Rob Kendall.
More broke than I went in.
You actually did things the right way. No insider trading, none of that kind of stuff. Our pal David Stefanoff from FallOnNeverFade.com, the professional handicapper on this Tuesday edition of the show, he's on BYU for tonight. Okay, BYU, Arizona. That's a game I think a lot of people would be interested in watching. But, Rob, there are other games on the docket.
Oh, yeah.
And this brings us to the Degenerate Special.
It's time for Hammer's Degenerate Special.
We hit this bad boy last week. We're going to hit it again tonight. And you know what? I almost feel bad calling this a degenerate game because one of these teams is actually really good. Drake at Murray State tonight.
The Racers.
Going to do a little Missouri Valley action tonight. Drake is a 5-point road favorite. The over-under sitting at around 123.5. Again, Drake 20-2.
Wow.
On the year.
Jeez.
The Racers, on the other hand, Murray State 11-12. So let's look at what Murray State does at home. Each of Murray State's last 16 night games at home have produced a total of over 124 points. Well, that's good because the line here is 123.5. But this also tells me they give up some points. to other Missouri Valley teams.
Yeah.
Teams that aren't as good as Drake. So I don't want the total here. I'm looking at Murray State being 8-13 against the spread and a really good Drake team. Like, this Drake team reminds me of those well put together Butler teams of Gordon Hayward and everybody playing their role, a really good coach, a pretty good mid-major conference. So I'm going to lay the points here. I like Drake in this spot. This line opened up at 4. It's already at 5. You should jump on it now because I think by tip-off tonight, it's going to be a little higher. I'm going to lay 5. Give me Drake. We started from the bottom, and damn it, we're here.
I love it.
Now, there are other sporting events going on. It's not just the Super Bowl. It's not just college basketball or the NBA. There's a little thing going on called the Waste Management Open, Rob. And if there ever were a time to get nuts, I think it's now.
All right, want to get nuts? Come on.
Let's get nuts. Now you want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts.
For the average casual fan, explain why the Waste Management Open is so revered.
It's the one tournament each year where they encourage you to act like an idiot.
It's like what Happy Gilmore would want if he were playing professional golf.
Now, it has reached a point, it got so extreme last year, and there were so many people that had to be removed and arrested that I think they're going to rein it in. I think they've created some new rules and
people
regulations.
Were passing out.
Yeah.
Our mutual pal, Nigel, my radio partner from my news talk show, he went to the Open last year, and everybody's got like a beer bong. Chicks were passing out. Everybody was throwing up. They're heckling the golfers. Again, it's just like Happy Gilmore when he's walking up to the green.
Well, and it leads into the Super Bowl. So they've kind of leaned into, especially the past several years, hey, we're wild, we're wacky. People get a little rowdy. They have a good time. You know, what? One year Harry Higgs was taking his shirt off after he made the putt. But it's like anything else. Like, it didn't get policed because that was what people were watching for. It's gone too far. Like, the people are getting put in danger. They were worried about the safety of the golfer. So I think they're, like, seriously going to rein that in this year. And it'll be fascinating to see. As usual, Nigel goes somewhere and everyone takes it too far.
Right. So if we actually want to bet on this thing, if we want to watch it not just for the debauchery and the hopes that some trashy Arizona woman takes off her top, what can we do?
Well, I mean, you could be super boring, right? I mean, Scotty Scheffler is the best player in the world. You could get him at like plus 280. Or, you know, the premise of the segment is let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. Let's do it.
So I'm looking at Sam Burns.
Who?
Sam Burns. Sam, as I call him, Sam Monty Burns. Really, actually a pretty good player. Finished 6th in this tournament 2 years ago. Finished 3rd last year, which means he's moving up 3 every year.
He's comfortable in these debaucherous conditions.
And right now you can get him at 25-1. He's a pretty good player. He's won on tour before. The other one I'm looking at, if you want to get even more nuts, and how about this one for a who? Sahith Theegala.
Who?
Sahith Theegala, another up-and-coming player. Had it won a couple of years ago and choked. Plays that course pretty well. I think he got 3rd last year. He's at 45-1. So Sam Burns at 25-1 or Sahith Theegala at 45-1 to win the Waste Management.
All right, want to get nuts? Come on.
Let's get nuts. Now you want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts.
Now, speaking of getting nuts, I didn't watch the Grammy Awards. I forgot they were on. I have not watched an award show in years. I just stopped caring because everybody wants to go up there and lecture people.
Yeah.
Unless, who was the guy that roasted everybody at the Golden Globes? Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, Gervais.
If Ricky Gervais is involved, I'll probably watch. Other than that, I'm out. But what kind of money could you have made had you ran to some sort of European sports book, right? Or maybe some back alley bookie. They're still out there somewhere. We may or may not know a guy. And as soon as Beyonce released her country album over a year and a half ago, whenever that was, as soon as it hit the market, if you would have bet she was going to win Country Album of the Year, do you think you could have made some big time cash? And I got to be honest with you, Rob, I'm pissed off we didn't think about it.
Well, this is my point, and I don't have a criminal mind like you do, so that was going to have to come from you. I knew she was going to win that. They were totally going to give that to her no matter what. There's no way they were going to deny Beyonce anything. And so it never even dawned on me that we could have found a way to bet on this.
I would have thought they would have done that split ticket thing where maybe she wins album of the year for the same album, but they give country album of the year to somebody like Luke Combs or somebody like that. Somebody that's actually country.
No, because they want her to be groundbreaking. She's the best at everything. She's best at everything person. And if you're country music, you want this because, well, now how many eyes are on the country music product? This seemed like an easy one to me. It never even dawned on me, though, that we could have run some sort of criminal enterprise and made money off that.
Yeah, especially knowing that her husband probably greased the palms of everybody. Old Jay-Z making sure everybody gets their fundage to make, his better half get that award. Again, Country Album of the Year, Beyonce. So, if that's the case, fine. We're going to fight fire with fire on this show. Thanks to our pals at There I Ruined It, in honor of Beyonce winning Country Album of the Year, we're going to flip the script. Here is A.I. Hank Williams singing NWA Straight Outta Compton.
Straight outta Compton, crazy mother named Ice Cube.
Come on!
From the gang called Fellers with Attitude.
Fellers.
When I'm called off, I got a sold off. Squeeze the trigger and bodies are hauled off. You too, boy, if you f*** with me.
Come on!
The police are gonna have to come and get me off your ass. That's how I'm going out for the pump, mother.
I love it.
When I'm in your neighborhood, you
this is better.
Cause Ice Cube is crazy as
slide whistle.
Slide whistle. I'm coming straight
outta Compton. So good. So good. All right, we're going to be back on Thursday. A lot more Super Bowl prop bets. I'll give you my pick for the game, and maybe, just maybe, I can talk Rob into making a bet.
You got to entice me. You got to entice me, baby.
For Rob Kendall, for our professional handicapper David Stefanoff of followneverfade.com, my name is Jason Hammer. Good luck, everybody, and as always, may the odds be ever in your favor.